Call the board meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good morning. Consideration of agenda items. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I have a correction.
Very good.
Under administration, item L, it should read non-licensed sergeant instead of licensed sergeants.
Okay. All right.
Move to approve with correction.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills.
Mr. Chair, I move that we pay our bills.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Payment of the bills in the amount of $183,445.57. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recorder's office. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here today requesting to become a Department of Human Services fingerprinting site. This would be a new service offered for the convenience of our citizens. And as stated in the board workshop, state law requires background studies for certain people who provide direct contact services or have access to vulnerable adults and children. This includes people who work in adult and child daycares, home daycares, foster homes, nursing homes, traveling nurses, etc. Part of the background study requires the applicant to get fingerprinted and have a photo taken at a DHS fingerprinting site. As McLeod County Recorder, I am wishing to apply to Gemalto Cogent Inc. of Austin, Texas, to become a DHS fingerprinting site, and if approved by Gemalto, would provide this service in our office. Equipment is provided by Gemalto at no cost to the county. County provides the facility, labor, and internet connection. Gemalto engineers remotely assist with the installation and maintenance of the equipment and all training. They also provide us with toll-free support if questions or issues arise. Fees for this service are paid upfront when the applicant applies to DHS for the background study. Gemalto will then pay McLeod County $3.25 per applicant that we process. This is not a huge income for the county, but rather a service we can provide to citizens who are mandated by law to have this background study. I have an agreement that needs to be approved by the board, and if approved, I would send that to Gemalto along with other paperwork, and then they either approve or deny us as a DHS site. But this is the first step. Mr. Chair, any questions?
Other than, I think we covered in the workshop, and maybe you covered it now, but if I missed it, I apologize. If it's not working out, we're not obligated to continue, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to give them 30 days notice, written notice.
All right. Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may, Lynette, is this a vendor recommended by the Department of Human Services, or
Yes, they are an approved vendor. That is the only vendor through DHS.
the only vendor? So we don't have an option to
No, we do not.
look around. Okay, thank you.
Any
Mr.
other
Chair,
questions? Yes.
I guess after we discussed this at the workshop, I move to approve that we send the application on to Gemalto and try and get this process working for our county.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second,
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just one question. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late, Lynette, but what's the timeline? When do you think this will be implemented and ready for utilization?
I don't know. I talked to one other person who started maybe like 2 years ago, and it took them about 2 to 3 months. I don't think that'll be the case now because the law has been in effect for 2 to 3 years, so I'm assuming that it's going to be a little faster than that. We're hoping, but I did not ask and they could not tell me, to be up by April or May.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Information technology. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to request consider approval to purchase paper cut for 15 Ricoh copiers with 5 years of support, on-site installation and badge readers for Metro Sales, Inc. of Richfield, Minnesota, for a cost of $14,995 with funds from the information technology budget. The county currently utilizes multiple software products for locked print, badge authentication, and scanning from Ricoh copiers. Our copier vendor, Metro Sales, Inc., no longer supports some of the products and has recommended switching to paper cut, as it offers these features and more. One of the new features, called Follow Me Printing, offers the ability to collect your print jobs from any of the devices configured with paper cut. A reduction of print devices is being planned around the move to the government center, and having the Follow Me Print feature will allow us to better accommodate this reduction. IT has been evaluating paper cut using a trial version on 4 copiers, 2 at the courthouse and 2 at the Health and Human Services. The trial has been receiving positive feedback but is nearing its end. Purchasing the software now will assist staff in getting used to using it prior to the move to the government center. Metro Sales provided an all-inclusive quote for paper cut on 15 copiers, including 5 years of support, on-site installation, and all necessary badge readers. SHI provided a quote for paper cut for $15,880, not including necessary on-site configuration and installation assistance from certified Ricoh partner.
All right. Good job, Matt. Any questions
Mr.
from the
Chair.
board? Yes.
Matt, I'm looking at the paper cut documents here, and it says 15 machines. Does this cover just their Glencoe facilities, or will it serve us countywide?
This will serve us as countywide.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Auditor Treasurer's Office. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, everyone. I am here today to request approval of a resolution to transfer $46,006.58 from the general fund elections account and designate the money to a special revenue account for voting equipment and supplies, the voting equipment grant budget. This has become a common practice to budget for elections equipment on the off year, and so I'm just requesting to continue that practice for this year. We don't know what we will need. We will be needing, one thing we do actually need will be the assisted voting devices. And then I'm thinking that all of our totes are going to be needing replacement. So those are just a couple things that I know are out there.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Connie, establishing this fund, is this, I know you got a certain number of dollars, $46,000 going into this now, but this fund will remain open in years to come, that any future grants would also be rolled into this account?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution 20 CB 13.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, we're, sorry, you just got here, but we're to you already. Do you want a few minutes?
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So first item is the approval of the C&M Agreement 2020-1, including all the exhibits. That's with the TCW Railroad in Glencoe for a cost not to exceed $1,293,001. And that, again, that is the construction maintenance agreement for the railroad portion of our Morningside project, SAP 43615-013. Had a couple workshops since the last board meeting. I think, from my perspective, folks have got their questions answered, I believe, and here we are again, I guess, for your consideration.
All right. Any questions or information we need to bring up?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the contract.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And item B again is to consider approval of a request from SCH out of Hutchinson. Those are for revisions to the engineering services agreement that we previously had with them. The additional work has been $74,010. Again, that's related to Morningside. And we've talked from the past board meeting and so forth, there's been numerous changes and so forth. Again, that's been discussed last couple of weeks, and I believe folks have got their questions answered again with that too. So,
Any further questions on that?
I should add as a reminder of both of those agreements and everything the costs are split 50% with the city of Glencoe per our previous joint powers agreement.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the request from SEH for revisions to the engineering services agreement for $74,010.
And I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks for the extra work. Sheriff's office isn't here yet. Mike, are you ready to go?
Certainly. What's before you is a contract between McLeod County and the Minnesota State Law Library. It would cost $1,281 for the year. What they do is come in and review the resources that we have available, make recommendations, provide us with some free materials, and give us suggestions as to what else we ought to purchase. It's not technically a budgeted item. It's a non-property tax item. It is paid for out of the surcharges that are paid for by defendants. There's currently a balance in that fund of about $160,000, so there's plenty of money to take care of this and the other needs of the law library for the foreseeable future. The law library has approved this and asked that you approve this. And those that are on the law library committee are Commissioner Nagel, myself, and the two judges of our district court.
All right, and I was there, and we went through a long list of options, and the judges told us what to do. So I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there any discussion?
I don't think it's quite true that they told us what to do. They had a recommendation, though, and we agreed with their recommendation.
All right, very, very good.
Encouraged.
Yes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, on to our calendars. Rich?
Okay. Since our last meeting, we had the workshop after the meeting. Also attended our drainage policy meeting. Drove up to Prime West and went through that meeting. Met with our legislatures. Good informative meeting. Hopefully we got a few of our points across to our local legislatures and they can carry the ball for us. And then last week I was supposed to have a meeting with PAC for Families, but Mother Nature took care of that one, so that brings me up to date.
Okay, workshop after last board meeting, budget meeting on the 5th, met with the legislators, with the rest of the board members, and also then another budget meeting and the ditch policy meeting on the 11th.
The workshop that we talked about, the drainage meeting, and then the department head meeting I had to miss because I wasn't feeling real well, and I'm still not, so I'm just trying to make it through today. So, Ron, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chair, I wish you well. Hope you get over what's ailing you. But on the 4th, following the board meeting, we had our county board workshop. On the 5th of February, we had the drainage committee reviewing our countywide drainage policy that we look forward to enacting sometime soon this year. On the 6th of February, we had Prime West Health Joint Powers Board meeting up in Alexandria, and we had all 24 counties present for that board meeting with our existing members and our expansion members were present for the board meeting there. On the 7th, we had our Legislators' Day. I think that went really well. Everyone was quite complimentary. We brought the 3 county boards from Sibley and Meeker County together with our elected representatives for District 18 and had a good discussion there. And then finally last week on the 13th, we had Meeker McLeod Sibley Community Health Board, and there we are getting our new executive director up to speed. She's doing very well for us, and we look forward to the CHS doing a lot of great work in the years to come. And that is it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Doug?
Mr. Chair, I also attended the workshop after our last board meeting on the 4th, and on the 5th, I had one of several meetings during the week on the Morningside project and going through some necessary items on the agreements and the budgeting of it. And on the 5th, I also attended our ditch policy meeting. And on the 7th, I had the Southwest Corridor Coalition, and that is Highway 212. And just a note from that, Phase 1, which is 212 from Carver to Cologne, is pretty much on the go, but I just want to caution people on how things work today. We had $5 million gap to get it done up to last year, and now I just, by the times and some necessary evils, the gap is now at 19 million. So that's how things work and how inflation kind of governs, expediency, at lack of a better word. But later that afternoon, we had our 2020 legislative workshop with our legislators. We had that together with Sibley and Meeker County, and I thank our administration. They did a nice job, and Commissioner Szymanski is setting that up. We had a good discussion. On the 11th, I had a department head meeting, and also on the 11th, I had our administration set up a meeting I met with the mayor of Plato and a businessman there at Plato just to discuss some things that are going on in our small towns, and being it's in my district, I like to follow up with the townships, and I'd like to do the same with Glencoe, just to see and find a direction forward on a long-range planning, economic development, however you want to phrase it, which brings us up to today.
Sheila, anything on the calendars?
Nothing to add. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Scott, we're ready for you.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm asking for approval to enter into a supplemental equipment grant agreement with the State of Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for a grant amount not to exceed $13,499. This grant will be used to purchase a rubberized boat, motor, and trailer. And I also noticed on here it didn't include the side-looking sonar. That was part of this. So, the grant will also cover the cost of a new sonar. Oh no, there it is. Sorry, I didn't read far enough. To be used with the boat for search and rescue efforts. This boat will be much smaller than what the Sheriff's Office currently has, and will be easier to get into rivers and small bodies of water and with no access. The Sheriff's Office will pay for the equipment up front and will be reimbursed for the amount listed. The The expenses and reimbursement related to the transaction will go through the Sheriff's Office Special Revenue Account, Boat, and Water. Any questions?
Any questions for Scott?
Just real quick, is this something that'll just be used here within McLeod County, or if another county needs something like this for a rescue effort, you'll be able to move it around, or?
Correct. Yeah, primarily here in McLeod County, but if we're asked to assist any other county that needs search and rescue efforts, we're glad to help them out.
Mr. Chair. Scott, on this, what is the approximate size of this? You said it's smaller and small enough to go in some of the rivers. Some of the rivers around here aren't very big, so.
Right, I think that the main thing is, like, take the Crow River in Hutchinson. It's hard to launch our big boat, at least onto the east side of that bridge.
Okay.
So this would allow us just to, like four guys can pick it up with the motor and everything and set it right into the river, and we don't have to find a landing for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Doug?
I'm sorry if I missed it, but now, does this cover all the costs? This grant is all covered by all the costs for this boat? Or-
Correct.
Ron, do you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Scott. How many personnel will, be able to ride in this boat? If you're doing a rescue, can you put 2 or 3 people in it, or?
Yeah, you could probably put 4 or 5 people into this boat.
And you mentioned the Crow River east of the downtown bridge with a lot of rock rapids, and this boat would be able to negotiate through very shallow water, I'm
Correct.
presuming.
Yep.
Okay, so I think it's a very good idea. I would move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. The obvious facts are that throughout some search and recovery efforts
Yeah.
this last fall, we learned that the current boat was not necessarily equipped perfectly for the river, and we had
Correct, yes.
to call in some other resources from other counties.
Yes.
And I think the Sheriff's Office did a nice job in utilizing some grant opportunities to better increase our fleet, so we have those resources at our fingertips too, so good job with that. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, just out of curiosity, Scott, this is a rubberized boat, but is there metal structure in it, or is it all, pliable materials? And is it inflated, or is it, all, permanently expanded so that it's not a rubber raft kind of thing?
Right, it's not just solid rubber, it's inflated. I'm not sure as far as like on the floor of the boat, if it's what the decking is. I would have to check on that for you, but
Okay.
if that's something you're interested in. But
All right. Just, like I said, just out of curiosity, I was
Yeah.
wondering. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
The technology on these boats, and I don't own one. If I was younger and with hunting and stuff, I see these type of boats around, and they're on the rivers and whatever, and they're quite, their mobility is unbelievable, and they obviously don't get affected by the waves like some of your other fishing boats do. So the technology is unbelievable to these rubberized boats today, so. Just a comment, Mr. Chair.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to administration. Sheila?
Colleen Robeck will present items A through C.
Good morning.
Morning.
For item A, I'm asking you to consider adopting Resolution 20 CB15, authorizing the acceptance of the 2019 gifts and contributions in the amount of $26,217.84 for the year ended December 31st of 2019. This is a Minnesota statute requirement that the board accepts them on a yearly basis.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you to all the participants who made donations to McLeod County on behalf of our various departments in 2019. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Thank you, Ron.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The reason that you're required to make a motion to accept is sometimes the gifts come with strings attached, such as it can only be used for the construction of a jail in the city of Glencoe, as was from the Anna Marie gift a few years ago, and you either have to accept it or to reject it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Right.
Mike.
Item B.
Item B, I'm asking you to consider adopting Resolution 20CB14 to make a temporary loan of $473,900 from the General Revenue Fund to the Ditch Fund to cover negative county and joint ditch fund balances dated December 31st, 2019.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
And then
carries.
item C, I am asking you to consider setting the interest rate on the temporary ditch loans referenced in Resolution 20CB14.
What rate did we select in October when we set the rest of the ditch loans? 2?
2%.
Okay. Make a motion for 2%.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Kruger, set the interest rate at 2%. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D, consider adopting Resolution 20CB09, dissolving the Trails Committee.
Thank you. We had a public hearing 2 weeks ago. I think it went well, and I'm happy we did it. Is there any comments from the board before we move on?
Mr. Chair, I would just thank the previous Trails Committee for their work, and if we need more information, I'm sure we'll put some other type of committee together. So I'd move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, consider adopting Resolution 20CB10, dissolving the Environmental Services Advisory Committee.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 20CB10.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion?
Just to make it clear that this committee needs to find a new, more modern focus than what it was in the past, and it's just part of the process to dissolve this one before finding that new direction to reinstate another one someday.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item F, consider appointing Policy Committee member Commissioner Doug Kruger and Policy Committee alternate Commissioner Paul Wright to the North Fork Crow River One Watershed One Plan.
I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just an FYI, I've been serving on the North Fork and was appointed to the One Watershed One Policy Committee and have been active in it for several years. And when we dissolved the Crow, just as a matter of housekeeping, we needed to specify a representative to the One Watershed One plan. So I guess that's how we got here today. I and Paul serve on the Lower Minnesota, so it's a fit for us to be on the North Fork too. It's somewhat complicated. Hopefully someday it'll be beneficial to McLeod County on all boundaries.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item G, consider adopting Resolution 20CB06, Commissioner Committee appointments for 2020.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item H, consider adopting Resolution 20 CB07, staff committee appointments for 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item I, consider adopting Resolution 20 CB08, citizen committee appointments for 2020.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item J, consider approval of letter of support to the U.S. Department of Transportation in support of the Highway 212 Freight Mobility and Safety Project for consideration of federal financial assistance under the U.S. Department of Transportation discretionary grant programs.
Any questions?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we've done these letters before. It goes in a pamphlet, lack of a better word, that gets carried. And the letter also gets sent to Secretary Chow. And it just helps us in lobbying our Congress for more funding for 212.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Following our legislative workshop with our District 18 legislators, the recommendation that I felt I was hearing from the legislators is that these letters of recommendation are nice, but maybe a county board resolution in the same respect would have a little more impact. Don't know what it would mean on the federal level, but I think at the state level, I would recommend that we do these things as county board resolutions and then forward them both to the governor, to the agency heads, as well as our legislators, so that they all have the same impression that all 5 of our commissioners are unanimous on a resolution to this effect.
All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I guess I'd also be in favor of that. We need to do anything we can right now. I've seen some of the support in the state legislatures going to Highway 14 and another highway that escapes me down by Rochester. So whatever we can do to encourage support for 212, I guess I'd be willing to work with our administrative officer or whatever to form a letter. Obviously, we've done a couple of them here too, but in a resolution form, it's probably a good idea.
All right. Well, there's still a motion on the floor.
Yep.
For the letter of support.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, my comments were,
For the future.
for future and more effective results that we would adopt resolutions, but no problem with sending this letter forward at this point.
All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I believe that you could still set a resolution at your next meeting if you wish to do so. They've requested the letter. So I would guess that in addition to if you plan to do resolutions in the future when they request letters, you may want to do both.
Thanks for volunteering to do that for the next meeting.
Not a problem.
All right. Any further discussion on the letter? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item K, consider approval of letter of support to Daryl Soudheimer in support of the Highway 212 Safe and Efficient Travel Project.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This is just another, this individual has been with the Southwest Coalition for, I met him back in the 70s, and it just, he's made a packet that we took to Washington last year, and he takes to the legislative group, and I mean, he did an amazing job. I've got it here. Obviously, everybody else can't see it, but he's covered every city going down 212 and actually some off to the corridors to 14 and 19. He covers Hutchinson. He's covered them all, and he's just updating that to take along. And they work really hard, and I think the main thing is, just like Commissioner Szymanski alluded to earlier, as many people as we can show that are on the same page, the more effect we have. That's all I have. With that, I'd move to approve the
Motion.
letter of support.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, and maybe Commissioner Kruger can answer this question. Nobody else is getting a copy of this letter. Would it be beneficial to copy any other individuals or organizations on this letter as well, such as the Southwest Corridor Commission or our legislators, or what would you recommend, I guess, is the question.
For right now, I like the other idea about the resolution. If we're going to go something specific, in this particular case, these two organizations are almost joined at the hip, and they'll all be delivered to our legislative people. So for right now, but we should keep that in mind.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item L, consider approval of memorandum of agreement with Law Enforcement Labor Services, non-licensed sergeants through December 17th, 2022. This memorandum is so that retiring employees can put cash outs into their healthcare savings plan during that time period, if they are eligible.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer, second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item M, consider approval of wire transfer agreement between Citizens Bank and Trust in Hutchinson, Minnesota and County of McLeod. This is to increase efficiency of transfers of funds between McLeod and Citizens Bank.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I guess the only question I have is, have we had wire transfer agreements in the past, or is this a new procedure that we're endeavoring to take up?
We have others in place, and this is a requirement that we need to fulfill if we will be wiring.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item N, notification of Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting to be held at 10 o'clock a.m. on Friday, February 28th, 2020, at the McLeod County Environmental Services Building, large conference room, 1065 Fifth Avenue Southeast, Hutchinson, Minnesota. Item O, notification of McLeod County Workshop to be held on March 3rd, 2020, following the county board meeting at the McLeod County Courthouse Boardroom, 830 11th Street East, Glencoe, Minnesota.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Open forum. Anyone wish to address the board? Press relations, anything? All right. Looking for a motion to recess to our next board meeting.
So moved.
March 3rd, 9 a.m. at the Glencoe City. Well, let's see here.
The old county boardroom.
Or the county boardroom. We're going to be there. Sheila?
I'm sorry, I was reading.
Just making sure this isn't a typo. We're going to be at the McLeod County boardroom.
I believe because of primary, if I'm not.
Yes, we will.
All right. So everybody pay attention to that, especially me.
There you go.
So March
send
3rd,
over.
9 a.m. at the McLeod County Courthouse in the old boardroom. Doug, was that a motion to recess?
Yes.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger, second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.